just be normal. How hard is that? And I'm not even asking that of you. Do what you want. But I'm asking it of politicians. And you do direct them. They're not totally on their own, untethered. They're tethered to us. And it's time to make a stand about just how far they should stray. You know how silly the far left views are. That girls' locker rooms should be invaded by predatory males. That's the far left position because they feel for a few not very comfortable boys who feel like girls. And now every girl in the school can't feel comforted in a locker room. This is the far left position. They also say that we should pay for the college educations of non-citizens, including criminals, when we work our asses off to put our own kids and grandkids into college. They say that guys should be able to win all the awards in a girls' athletic competition because one or two guys feel like they're female. They say we shouldn't, or we should, pay people who don't want to work. These are so silly, and it gets worse. Outside of this state, in D.C., there are those who want to have a Green New Deal. Absolute fantasy, and even if it was doable, stupid. That we remove all autos from roads. That we remove all cows from the country. These people are intoxicated by liberal progressive mush. Some of them I don't think even believe it themselves, but they're fueled by media. The far left positions get press. Incendiary things tend to get press. So do fires in homes. If it bleeds, it leads. And to some extent, that's what happens. But it pulls the discourse way away from normal American discourse. I have a solution. Stand up to them. Slow them down. Slam them verbally. Invite them to debate with real audiences, okay? Not those packed in with equally intoxicated followers. Let their positions really try to stand up, juxtapose with what ordinary Americans have believed and what's led to success for us for 240 years. Let me give a couple less apparent far left positions. It's not as apparently silly, so it needs some more depth. They might be even more dangerous. That some people are worth more because they're in government service. That is worthy of extra job security, lavish pensions, not working very hard, or if you have to work a little harder, getting ridiculously high overtime pay. All these benefits that you don't see in private practice, but they become standard in progressive-run states. There's that other position about how to spend your money, that the government knows better than you how to spend your money. That's a silly position. It's impossible for them to know better than a mentally competent person. And look, the very best people, and frankly, people that I think should be running our government, are heads of households. Moms who've successfully raised kids will do a better job in any legislature than the average single lawyer, the average single public servant calling themselves a public politician. When you look out for your own household, well, you probably look out for the public's household at least as well, because there's a responsibility. And back to us holding people to responsibility. That's what deserves vigilance. If your legislature is in session, it is worth pounding against way left things that hurt the rest of us. There's a final progressive position that's latent. it doesn't show itself as prominently as it should. That government spreading the wealth is helpful. And the progressives do point to some successful countries that they call socialist: Denmark, Norway, Sweden. And I want to say their means of generating wealth is not socialist. It is absolutely capitalist. They have actually fewer restrictions than most in Europe and sometimes in the United States. With their successful gains, they do have a command of, we're going to spread the wealth more. How much is that helpful? I'm not so sure. Yes, they're economically successful countries, but they should be, okay? Those three countries have very highly educated people. They have success-driven mentalities. They are protected by the United States from spending a lot on defense, and at least in the case of Norway, they have oodles of riches. Per capita, their oil wealth is higher than even Saudi Arabia. So they should be successful. They should be more successful, and maybe because of spread the wealth policies, they're not as successful as they should be. We have the chance to do it all. We're a big enough country to allow people who want to act in socialist ways to have their own enclaves. All of Burlington, Vermont, frankly, most of northern Vermont, Bernie Sanders territory. If they want to socialize their labor systems, their schools, their hospitals, their retirement systems, fine. Just don't foist it on everybody else. We can ask that of our legislators too. You have it all. Progressives get the best deal possible because they won't have the rest of us sniping at them. And meanwhile, we get to go about our lives without being imposed upon by big, obtuse government. Please make that the message anytime a legislator is demanding that you pay for their ideas that are unworthy. Let people who agree with them, I don't think that's a large amount, pay for it themselves. I'm Mark Greenstein.